So, yes, I'm Julie. I am from the UK. I currently live in Cambridge. I am married, so my husband is also on the Wealth Chef journey with me. I don't have kids, now 52, and I discovered Anne just shy of my 50th birthday. So I felt that was quite a good time to discover you, because at that time I had just been made redundant from a big corporate job that I had held down for 20 years. And so that was a big part of life to come crumbling down, and a big part of what I associated achievement and success and all that stuff with. This is a dangerous time to be out of work. And even though I'd done really, really well building my career over the years, I had got myself into a bit of a pickle money-wise, because it's the old trap of you earn more, so you spend more, but not necessarily in the right direction. To quote your phrase, Anne, octopus on skates, it really was. It was panic mode. My mindset was all over the place, because that's all I've known for so many years. I've been fortunate enough to have been in work since I graduated university, and it's the pattern I know. So it was like, what the bleep do I do now if there isn't anything to follow suit? And okay, you get a nice little package when you get made redundant from big corporates. But I knew that if I didn't act wisely, that wasn't going to last forever, right? It wasn't, There was that period of time where I thought that it's like, well, it'll be all right. The universe has got my back. And I knew that really, but then the practical brain kicks in, and it's like, well, nothing's materialized yet. So, the mortgage company isn't, and so forth, isn't going to be that forgiving for forever. I just knew something had to change. I knew that I had been following you for quite a while, as had my husband, and he was already raving about you and his discoveries and so forth. So he said, you have to check this out, which I did, but I hesitated, I procrastinated. But really what got me to do it was that the rubber hit the road, really, because everything came crashing down. The job that I thought was safe, all the fancy things. And I thought, At the same time, I was reading the 25-year plan, and I'm thinking, when I was younger, I had this. I knew what this looked like. And now I'm 50, it's looking like a bit of a blank canvas. So if I'm not careful, I'm just going to be retired before I know it and start to disappear. And I don't want to disappear, and I don't want to financially disappear either. So it was just, I can't really explain it. Some realization. It's like, if not now, Julie, when the blooming heck when, something's got to give. I've got to do something for myself. I've always been open to learning, and I am a lifelong learner. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so I used to do this for work, to be a project manager, to be Six Sigma qualified. You know all the badges for that. And it's like, so now is the time to do something for me that's going to help me stop panicking, stop feeling anxious about money, stop worrying about, oh my God, the credit card bills are so high. Learn how to tackle it, get rid of it. And not only that, for that moment in time, but to never to go back to that situation. But I was actually fortunate in that I did find another role. So that got me back on the job market. And rule number one is, my biggest asset is me, which I've now learned. And so capitalize on that. And so I took a job that wasn't as big and as demanding of me, so that I can keep the monthly income coming in, but prompted by what I'm learning and hearing on Wealth Builders Club to really start thinking. So I started off with baby steps, actually. I started off with I can't remember what it's called. There was a little 30-day mini or taster program or something. So I did that, and then I thought, this is fascinating. And then where I was at the time, I then jumped onto the just friggin' destroy it. And then I went from there to PIMS, and I thought, I did not know there was such a thing as self-invested platforms. I always thought, I know you can relate. I always went to the man who looked after the money, who worked for the wealth company. And, and it's like that opened up another bubble. And then I thought, we've got to learn about this. And then, of course, being made redundant. So So then by the time that kicked in and then that final paycheck came, I wasn't panicked. I thought, right, I know what I've got to do. That amount goes to the credit card companies. That amount gets rid of the bit left on the car. Done. And that was nearly 40 grand's worth just right there. Just done. We're doing all the squeeze the juice things as well. And I got rid of my lovely car. But that's okay, because I now know a lovely car isn't really nice. But I need the money more to put into my savings and investments and to get everything looking like I want to. So I have just the necessities, and everything is on an automatic payment doing something else, which was never the case before. It was really interesting, and I was actually delving behind, so watching the examples of how you look at the funds, and then you look at the fact sheets, and then you look at what it's composed of. I've never looked at these in so much detail before, but the funniest thing ever is it's actually interesting. It's like, oh, those are the companies that sit behind these trackers. Funnily enough, just fascinating. And also then when I started my new job, and first question they ask you, how do you want to profile your contributions? It's like, I know exactly the answer to that. What have you got? And of course, it wasn't such an interesting read, but at least I understood the principles of how to split. So I've got that diversity, and I always heard that term over and over, and the men from the pension companies tell you about that. But now I really understand what. I've still got some ways to go to, the mortgage is the big one. So for transparency, the mortgage is still the last one now. And so that gets the overpayment first, and anything else, it's on a planned path of expenditure. So at the moment, with interest rates so high, if somebody's offering 6 months free interest to get the bathroom done or whatever, it's like, yeah, I'll take it, because I'll earn the interest and I'll pay it off 2 days before the 6 months interest. And if it was something, incidentally, that needed absolute urgent attention, like water through the roof, then we have the emergency fund, and there's no panic. We're both aligned in our ambition to start our own companies and do our own thing. And especially with the things that Lawal, my husband, went through, because he was really quite seriously ill 5 years ago. So we got through all of that. That was an emotional and a financial drain, and trying to keep the show on the road and the smile on the face at work, all of that kind of thing. We both know deep down, in the essence of our soul, we were put on this planet not to argue about money, not to argue about the small stuff, not to sweat all of that. We went through that big trauma for a reason, and we're at a stage in life where we are figuring out why and what we're going to do about it. And that's what's important, and that's what we need to focus, fueling our focus, energy, emotion, and finances. But so much more powerful empowered conversations, less emotion, less blaming, less, what did you spend all that money on that for? Or, what did you do that for? None of that anymore, because we now know we have play money for that's your own business. But for the bigger decisions that would have impacted us both before, where you'd sort of get a bit anxious, I suppose, for me, anxious, because it's like that's been committed to now, and then that's we have to do something with that, so we don't have that anymore, and we are more aligned. And during this phase, this is an interesting one. So during this phase, we agreed that we would, for the first time ever, have a joint account to deal with the necessities of running the house. So we don't panic about that either. It's like we squeeze the juice. We know every month what just the bare minimum running costs, and utilities and food, internet, everything like that. Because we do the monthly money dates, we know what that number is. We are tracking it as inflation is impacting things, and that's all organized. So that's not even a conversation anymore. Well, the percentage growth is 97%, so it's almost doubled. And that's only since, I would say, I really, so like blinkers on, nose down focus started in April 2021. And then I was made redundant later that year. So that's when so in about 6 months, and the consumer debt in the car was paid off. And then at some point, early 2022, credit score started to go up. But then when I started to track the net worth, because now I know how to use a balance sheet and I know the 4 boxes, and I was doing the balance sheet and I was thinking, wow, that's amazing. And because I learned diversification, and all the markets have been all over the place since COVID, and they still are. And some, you look at your app and it's in the red, but it's like, it's okay, because now we know we're buying it on sale. The other ones are, it's exactly as you did. It's always up and down, and don't panic. Don't fiddle with it. Trust the method, trust the process, be consistent, don't mess with it. just keep going. And so then that's paid off. So it's still early days, so I was at the point where it could just be another thing that doesn't work, but I felt it was different. And I saw the testimonials, but when I opened up, so I started with as I said, the 30-day challenge, and then the just friggin' destroy it. And so I built up to FFU. So I thought, well, I've got results with the free stuff. I got results with the first stepping stone kind of product with the just destroy it. And I was making progress already. So I thought, well, the FFU is a natural progression. And then it was sort of like, whoa. And it's like, wow, everything I'm going to need to know ever is in here. So there are some things in there that feel advanced, or feel that yes, but not yet. At least you know about it. And so then when I'm saving up or deciding on what the priorities are, it's like, yes, because I want to get to that I've heard about, and I want to circle back to that, and I want to be able to do something about that. So that feels like planning, not procrastination. And so that's a difference. And it all feels it's digestible, it's understandable, and you can work with it. So luckily when you're on the inside, you've got no worries. So once you're in, it's just picking your starting point. This is being clear where you're out of all of that. Where's your starting point? Work on those steps. Start to address what you need to address for yourself, and then see where that leads you. Get all the foundational stones in place. And then the world's your oyster inside the FFU, that's for sure. Thank you, Anne. Well, thank you. It's been amazing. And yes, it's not over. It's not over till it's over. And that's this is a lifelong journey. So this isn't about do something for 6 months and then we all vanish in a puff of smoke or whatever. Once you're in, you're in. You're hooked. You're hooked. But the number one thing I've noticed is calmer energy, just calm. I'm not worried about things anymore. I'm just not worried. And so that improves my relationship. Well, first of all, with myself, so that I don't beat myself. I've been very unkind to myself. And the things I say to myself, I wouldn't say to my family or friends. So relationship with self has changed. Relationship with others has changed. And just this feeling of calm, and that I'm okay, and it is okay. And I came to my own rescue in time, I think. And for anybody who's worried about, I've left it far too late, I should have done this when I was 20. Well, yes, we should have all done this when we were 25, had we known. And then and it's really true what they say. And again, this is something I didn't fully appreciate till recently. The next best time is now, and it really is.